right, good morning. I'd like to welcome everyone to the 2019 Bear Elementary D.A.R.E. graduation. Before we begin the ceremony, we have a student from the high school here today from the Bold Club, and she'd like to make a presentation to Mrs. Rupert. So I'd like to introduce Emily D.A.R.E.
Hi everybody, my name is Emily D.A.R.E. and I am a graduating senior from Miamisburg High School this year. I would like to start off by saying congratulations on graduating from D.A.R.E. That's really awesome, guys. I myself had the opportunity to graduate from the D.A.R.E. program in 5th grade. The information that you learn through D.A.R.E. is super important, and it'll help you as you go along through middle school and high school. Being able to equip yourself to make positive decisions will really help you out in the future. In addition to everything that you learned through this, I recommend surrounding yourself by friends that share your values and passions. And being a member of BOLD, which is Building Our Lives Drug-Free, has helped me to continue to make good decisions and not have to worry about making all of those bad choices. And I know that being in BOLD has really helped me because I am surrounded by people that, like I said, share those same values, and that I can go to talk to adults if I ever have any problems or any questions like that. And we, as a BOLD group, wanted to donate a banner to your school and principal, and it says Vikings are bold. And we hope that this will serve as a reminder that there are more students in middle school and high school that are making a choice to live drug and alcohol free. Thank you for your time, and good luck next year, guys.
In the multi-purpose room here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The first group of people I'd like to thank are the ones that make today possible, and that's the City of Miamisburg, the Miamisburg City Schools, and the Miamisburg Police Department, because without their support today wouldn't be possible. I also like to thank all the parents and relatives that were able to join us today. I had a great time working with your kids this year. It's a good group. We had a lot of fun, and I'm very proud of them. I also like to thank the 4th graders for showing up today. I look forward to seeing you next year in D.A.R.E. class. Some of the things we spoke about in D.A.R.E. class are accurate information about alcohol and drugs. We talked about making good decisions and how to handle peer pressure. We talked about bullying and how to be a good citizen, and we also talked about how to be safe with over-the-counter prescription drugs. All the kids did a great job, but the goal of the D.A.R.E. program is for you to take what you learned in D.A.R.E. class and use it, especially as you guys are in middle school and high school. You're going to encounter some difficult situations. Think back to some of the things we talked about in D.A.R.E. class, and hopefully that will help you out. We have quite a few guests here that have come to celebrate your accomplishment today. We have from the House of Representatives, we have your Representative Niraj Antani. From the City of Miamisburg, we have your Mayor, Dick Church. From the Miamisburg Municipal Court, we have your Judge, Robert Redick. Good morning. Also from the courts, we have the Clerk of Courts, Amanda Zinni. From the Miamisburg City Council, we have Councilmember John Stahl. From the Miamisburg Police Department, we have Sergeant John Thompson. And from Miamisburg City Schools, we have your Superintendent, Dr. David Vale. And of course, you all know your principal, Mrs. Rupert. A few of our guests would like to say a few words, and we'll begin with Mayor Church.
Morning. 23 years ago, the City Council and the Mayor went to the City Manager, and we said that we wanted to start a D.A.R.E. program here in Miamisburg. And in my opinion, that program is one of the best ways that the City of Miamisburg, the City School District, and the courts work together to bring the message to you that drugs are not good for you. So I hope that you're going to listen to everything that Officer Schultz has told you and taught you over the last several weeks. I want to introduce Joe McKenzie from the Miami Valley Communication Council. He is taping this, and you can see this many, many times between now and next D.A.R.E. graduation. It's a pleasure having our state representative here today, too. Niraj Antante was a Bauer School graduate not that many years ago. He's one of the youngest people in the Ohio State Legislature, and we're proud that he's representing this community. He's the first person to represent in the State House legislature since Civil War days, so that's quite an honor, and we're proud of you. One of the things we're going to do different today is when you come up, instead of shaking hands, we're going to fist bump. There's a lot of colds and stuff going around, so we'll just fist bump when you go through the line. I say this every year. You are going to be challenged sometime in your life. We don't know when that's going to be, but one of these days, one of your close friends, or maybe you're at a party and you just feel the peer pressure and you think, well, I got to join in. Someone's going to challenge you to do something that you know is wrong. And that's when I hope that you listen and remember what Officer Schultz has taught you during the D.A.R.E. program. You and I have something in common today. You are graduating the D.A.R.E. program, and this will probably be my final time to talk to you as mayor of this community. I'm retiring at the end of this year after 28 years. And again, during those 28 years, people are starting to ask me what's some of the great things that's occurred during your 28 years as mayor. Right near the top is the D.A.R.E. program and the 3 D.A.R.E. officers that have taught thousands of young people the right and wrong. So I wish you the best during your life. I know if you follow what you've been taught here in Miamisburg schools and through the D.A.R.E. program, you're going to have a great rest of your life. God bless you.
Next, we have Representative Ahai.
Well, thank you, Officer Schultz, and all for having me. My name is Niraj Antani, proud to be your state representative in Columbus, and just wanted to say thanks to the mayor. The mayor has been the mayor since the year before I was born. And look how old I am. Okay, that's how long he's been the mayor. So everything good in Miamisburg is thanks to that guy right there. And so you all have a lot to be thankful for, and very privileged to have him here in his last year. So you all have a great achievement. You guys ready for middle school? I don't know, that side is ready for middle school. That's the party side. So you all are going to have a great time. You're going to go to middle school, you're going to go to high school, and you're going to go to college, and you're going to go into careers, and it's going to be great. And 17 years ago, I think it was 2002, I graduated high school in 2009, 2002, 5th grade, I graduated the D.A.R.E. program at Bauer Elementary, right, just across the way, Bauer Elementary. I was not chosen to give you the speech, right? I think some of you are going to give speeches. I wasn't chosen. They didn't like my speech then. But 17 years ago, I graduated from the D.A.R.E. program, right? And I sat where you were sitting in Bauer Elementary, and all of my friends, right, we had hopes and dreams, and everyone asked you what you wanted to be grow up to be when what you wanted to be when you grow up, and I wanted to be this, and here I am. And a lot of my friends, right, you want to be, you know, maybe you want to be a doctor, maybe you want to be a lawyer, maybe you want to be a princess, maybe you want to be an astronaut, a professional sports player, and you can do it, right? You can do it. There is nothing that stands in your way. David Bruden, a Miamisburg graduate, is a Super Bowl champion. I sit in the State House. You can do anything, unless you do drugs, unless you do alcohol, right? And unless you forget what you learn in the D.A.R.E. program. And I know that, you know, my friends that I graduated the D.A.R.E. program 17 years ago with, many are doing what they wanted to do. They are engineers, they are doctors, they are lawyers, but they're the ones who didn't do drugs. They're the ones who didn't do alcohol, right? And a great political mentor of mine, a very, very important person, he told me, he said, Neeraj, he said, you will go as far in life as your ability to say no, okay? Now, let's hear that again. You will go as far in life as your ability to say no. Now, that does not necessarily mean saying no when your mother tells you to clean your room. That does not necessarily mean telling your teacher no when they say to do your homework, but maybe it does. But it definitely means saying no when someone asks if you want to do drugs. It definitely means saying no when someone asks if you want a drink, okay? And so you're going to do great. You're going to conquer middle school. You're going to conquer high school. You're going to conquer after that. And one day, look, the mayor's retiring. It's open. You guys can run for it. And so one day, one of you will be mayor of Miamisburg, but only if you remember what Officer Schultz taught you, okay? So congratulations.
Next, we have Judge Redick.
First, good morning. I want to thank the parents because you have no idea how much I appreciate parental support. It makes a huge difference. I know Doug Sherritts has done a good job teaching you D.A.R.E., but I bet your parents have done an even better job of teaching you right and wrong. Accountability, responsibility, it's just so important. The people that maybe succumb to what the mayor talked about, temptation and challenge and being tried, and that's what's going to happen to you. It may not be in the broad light of day, maybe in a basement somewhere, a car, maybe at night. Somebody's going to ask you to do something that in your heart of hearts you know is the wrong thing. And I'm asking you not to do it. Whatever you do for the rest of your life, don't do heroin. Heroin's just epidemic right now. I bet heroin's touched at least some of your classmates' lives. Don't do heroin. It's just an epidemic. But it will kill you, so don't even think about doing heroin. But I'm going to ask you to do something more than we've already talked about, or maybe your D.A.R.E. officers talked about, and that is there's going to be somebody maybe sitting right next to you, to your right or to your left. Maybe they may not follow the path that you're on. They may succumb to that temptation. They may fail that challenge. They may give in to that peer pressure. Sometime, if you know a friend of yours or someone that you're close to, reach back and say, maybe you should reconsider this path you're on. Stop doing what you're doing. I see people that are horribly impacted by drugs and alcohol just about every day of my life. And if you'll just avoid that, the mayor almost always says, you're born in a great city, you're here in a great school, and great things are happening in Miamisburg. He's right, they are. And you're gonna have a great life if you just avoid those temptations that we just talked about. I am confident that you're gonna have a great middle school and do really well. Just keep doing what you're doing. I'll try to keep it brief because we've got a lot of speakers. Thank you.
Thanks. Next, we have from the Miamisburg Police Department, the Chief of Police, John Sedlar.
Thank you, Officer Doug. Good morning, fifth graders.
Good morning.
And good morning, fourth graders.
Good morning.
And good morning, parents. Oh, a few more days in this vacation, right? Yeah, you can probably smell it by now. Hey, I want to just say a few words. I know you've had a lot of people talking to you, but I want to congratulate you on getting through your school year well and getting through this D.A.R.E. program. But I want to point out to you, you know, when you graduate from something, like you're going to graduate from D.A.R.E. today, when you graduate from something, it feels like you accomplished it, right? Don't you feel like you accomplished something today? Yeah, and you have. But accomplishment isn't the end. In other words, it doesn't stop with you getting your certificates today and graduating from D.A.R.E. It's the beginning. It's just the different. It's absolutely different. So when you finish this, it's the beginning. The beginning of what? The beginning of taking the information you learned this year and applying it to the rest of your life. As you get older, as you go to vacation after the school year, as you go into the 6th grade, as you go into grades after that, your freedom and your opportunities increase. And that's when this information becomes most important to you. Because as your freedom increases, your decision making has to increase, because you don't have somebody else there holding you by the hand making those decisions. Someone who loves you, who would make the right decision for you. Now, more and more, you're going to find it's you that has to love you, or you that has to love your friend and employ the information you had. Take the tools that Officer Doug gave you, they're all tools, all those different things you learned, how to contend with things, those are your tools. Take them and use them when the time is right, for yourself, to keep yourself safe and healthy, or for a friend. And the last thing I want to talk to you about is bullying. Bullying's a big deal, and probably most of you have experienced it at some point. There's all sorts of levels of bullying. I don't know that one is worse than the other, but what I do know is that with cyberbullying, using a computer or a cell phone, social media, that has a whole different dynamic to it, because it's so easy to bully somebody when you're not looking them in their eye, when you're not standing right in front of them. It's easy when you're anonymous and you're separated by distance. Even if you're not anonymous, even if everybody knows who you are, when you're separated by distance, it's easy to be mean to somebody. Well, of course, I don't want any of you to do that, but I don't want you to be the victim of that. And the best thing to do with that kind of bullying is to tell somebody who can end it immediately for you. Because the thing we know about that is that it gets worse. Day 2 will be worse than day 1. Day 7, much worse than day 2, and on and on and on. So you have to end it. You have to end it immediately. And so you go to your parent, or you go to a teacher or to an administrator at school, or you go to Officer Doug or another police officer, and you let them know, this is happening to me. Do not keep it to yourself. Do not bury it deep inside. Let these people know, because as soon as you do, they'll end it, and they'll end it immediately for you. Don't let it build up. So with that, I want to thank you for your attention. I want to congratulate you once again on getting through the school year in your D.A.R.E. program. Good luck, have a great summer, and enjoy 6th grade and 4th graders. We'll see you again next year. Thank you.
And Dr. Vail.
Thank you, Officer Sherritt. It's certainly an honor and a privilege for me to be here to congratulate you and celebrate your graduation from D.A.R.E. program. On behalf of the entire Miamisburg City Schools Board of Education, the administration and staff, great job. This is a great program for you, and we're certainly thankful to the city, to the police department for collaborating with the school district to make this happen and make it work for you. 2 jobs we have here in the schools, for you to learn and for you to be safe. And through the D.A.R.E. program, we think we've accomplished part of that. We've taught you what to do, what not to do, and how to be safe. But you knew that coming in. You have some great teachers along the way, a lot of them sitting back there. Your parents, your grandparents, aunts and uncles, brothers and sisters, whomever, taught you right from wrong, good and bad, how to make the right choices and the right decisions. Then you got to school and you had these great teachers along the side. Now, first of all, the teachers, when he talked about summer vacation, I think they smiled a little bit bigger than you guys did, so I think they're excited as well for that. But anyway, you have some great teachers here at the building as well. And when you move on to the middle school, you'll have some more great teachers there. So you're not alone. Everyone up here talked about challenges that you're going to face in your life. Just remember, you don't have to face those challenges, those temptations by yourself. There's someone you can turn to, the person sitting next to you, the people that are going to be in your classes next year and going on into high school, the teachers you're going to have there, your parents, your grandparents, whomever. So remember, our motto is if you see something, say something. Let's keep each other safe and let's keep ourselves safe. So you guys have a great summer and good luck in 6th grade. Thank you.
One of the last things the students do in D.A.R.E. classes, they write a D.A.R.E. report. Not only do they have to write a report, but they present to their classmates. And we've selected a few to share their reports today, and we'll begin with Beth Ann Brock.
The first thing that I'm going to talk about is the D.A.R.E. decision-making model. D stands for define, A stands for assess, R stands for evaluate, and R stands for respond, and E stands for evaluate. Why do 5th graders take D.A.R.E.? It helps us to learn to make better choices in our future. Our D.A.R.E. officer is Sherritt Stugg. The 2 topics that I'm going to talk about are peer pressure and stress. Peer pressure is when someone is telling you not to tell when you see them do something wrong, or someone is trying to make you do something that you know is not a good decision. Stress comes in many signs, and some are mad, attitude, nervous, embarrassed, and sad. Have I used a D.A.R.E. decision-making model? Yes, I have. When I had to respond to my mother when she was talking to me. What I learned in D.A.R.E. is to make the responsible choices and do the right thing. My pledge will be never use drugs. I, Beth Ann Brock, will never use drugs ever.
Good job. Next, we have Jack Coates.
Hi, my name's Jack, and in 5th grade, we have a class called D.A.R.E., which is taught by Officer Sherritt. D.A.R.E. is about preparing us for middle school, high school, and college. D.A.R.E. teaches us about many things, like peer pressure, stress, alcohol, and tobacco. But the most important thing D.A.R.E. teaches us is the D.A.R.E. decision-making model, which stands for D D, define, A, assess, R, respond, A, evaluate. Wait, E, The D.A.R.E. decision-making model is a system that helps us get through our problems. Today, I'm going to tell you about how dangerous alcohol and tobacco are. First, we'll start with alcohol. Alcohol is not only illegal for people under the age of 21, but if you do drink under the age of 21, you could suffer brain damage or even die. Luckily, not many people drink underage. Keyword, not many. Also, 75,000 people die from alcohol-related events in the U.S. alone per year. Then there's tobacco. Oh boy. There are 400,000 deaths from tobacco in the U.S. alone in 1 year. It also can cause lung cancer and heart disease. Also, 50,000 people die in the U.S. alone from secondhand smoke. One more thing, if this scares you, sorry, but it's all true. Moving on from that, I've used the D.A.R.E. decision-making model many times in my life. Like one time when I was at the pool, and my friends had a disagreement. One wanted to go on the diving board, and the other wanted to go on the water slide. I used the D.A.R.E. decision-making model to decide to go on the water slide. I plan to use what I've learned in D.A.R.E. to make better decisions. I, Jackson Dennis Coates, solemnly swear to be drug-free and alcohol-free for life.
Great job, Red Bull. Congratulations. Next, we have Kellen Toadvine.
You might not know what the D.A.R.E. decision-making model is, but I'm sure you've used it in your life. If you don't know what D.A.R.E. means, it means define, assess, respond, evaluate. Fifth graders take D.A.R.E. to help them make good choices when they grow up. Officer Sherritts helped us learn about the D.A.R.E. decision-making model, and next year, fourth graders, he will teach you about it too. Two things he taught us were to stay away from tobacco and alcohol because those two things can harm you. Tobacco is very bad for your body. In the United States, selling tobacco under the age of 18 is illegal, and in some states you have to be 19 years old to sell tobacco. Another fact is that there are at least 200 harmful chemicals in cigarette smoke. Also, smoking can give you heart disease. Did you know that over 400,000 United States citizens die from tobacco each year? Tobacco also contains a very powerful addictive substance called nicotine. You should never do tobacco. Alcohol is also bad for your body. It can make you lose a bunch of your memory. Alcohol is illegal to anyone under the age of 21. Did you know that in the United States there are 75,000 alcohol-related deaths each year? Did you also know that teens usually don't drink alcohol? The last thing you should know about alcohol is that you should never mix it with any type of medicine because that can be very dangerous. You should always stay away from alcohol, just like tobacco. You and me have both used the D.A.R.E. decision-making model in our lives. We use it when we can't decide what we want to do. When I was little, I couldn't decide if I wanted to go to the movies or eat ice cream. I used the D.A.R.E. decision-making model, and I didn't even know it. I decided that going to get ice cream was a better choice since I would enjoy it the same as the movie, and on top of that, it costs less money to get ice cream. I mostly used the response step when I was little, but now I can try to use all the steps in the D.A.R.E. decision-making model because Officer Sherritts taught me more steps to help make decisions easier. The D.A.R.E. decision-making model is easy to use, so why not use it in your life? I have learned a lot in D.A.R.E. I learned how to walk away from people that try to give me drugs. That is a safe and responsible choice because by walking away from a person that might try to give me drugs, the drugs cannot harm me in any way. I, Kellen Toadvine, will never ever take drugs or alcohol.
Good job. Thank you. Next, we have Gage Meiser. What's that?
The D.A.R.E. decision-making model is a system to help fifth graders make good decisions. It stands for D, define, A, assess, R, respond, and E, evaluate. Two topics I'll introduce are smoking and alcohol use. I got these facts from Officer Doug Schultz. If you smoke, you'll mess up your body. The cigarette smoke contains more than 200 bad chemicals. More than 400,000 deaths occur in the U.S. because of smoking. Vaping is bad too. Now let's talk about alcohol use. It's illegal to drink it under the age of 21. It also makes you do things that you normally wouldn't do, so it can harm you or others. There are more than 75,000 deaths in the U.S. because of alcohol use. I'll use D.A.R.E. in my life to stay healthy. For example, not smoke, drink alcohol, and not fall for peer pressure. You should too. I've used D.A.R.E. by communicating with others, also respecting others. I've also used it to resist peer pressure. So in conclusion, I, Gage Meiser, will use D.A.R.E. to resist tobacco use, alcohol use, and peer pressure. I've also found good ways to respond to stress, and I'll make sure if I see bullying, I'll stop it as soon as I can. So what I'm trying to say is, I'm drug-free and always will be. Thank you.
Outstanding job. Congratulations. Next, we have Emily Schultz.
What is D.A.R.E.? D.A.R.E. stands for D, define, A, assess, R, respond, and E, evaluate. Fifth graders take D.A.R.E. to prepare us for the future to not use drugs and alcohol. So how do we know this information? We learn from our amazing officer, Doug Schultz. One topic we learned about in D.A.R.E. is alcohol use. You should not use alcohol because you can stay in a coma for a while or even die. If you don't believe me, 75,000 people die a year from alcohol. The other effects alcohol has on you are memory loss, slow reflexes, and poor judgment, and many more. Therefore, you should avoid alcohol at all costs. So, how do you resist alcohol and drugs? Some strategies are 1, say no and walk away, 2, say no with a reason, or 3, change the subject. This is my favorite resistance strategy is don't hang around users of drugs and alcohol. This one is my favorite because if you do that, then you don't have to worry about users at all. These are all part of the D.A.R.E. decision-making model. I have used the D.A.R.E. decision-making model in my life. One time, a family member was having trouble on her homework. However, I was already finished with mine. She asked me if I could answer for her. I assessed this by saying, I will help you, but I will not answer for you. In D.A.R.E., I have realized the dangers of drugs and alcohol. I know to be more careful around users. I want to thank Doug Schultz for teaching us about D.A.R.E. I, Emmy Schultz, promise to never use drugs and alcohol in my entire life.
Congratulations. And last, we have Natalie Martin.
Do you know what D.A.R.E. means? All the letters in the word stand for another word. They all go along with the D.A.R.E. decision-making model. D, define, what is your problem, challenge, or opportunity? A, assess, what are your choices? R, respond, use the facts that you've gathered. And finally, E, evaluate. Did you make the right choice? Fifth graders do D.A.R.E. because we are moving on to bigger schools and we can get asked to smoke or drink alcohol. In those situations, you use the D.A.R.E. decision-making model. Officer Doug Schultz has taken his time to teach about D.A.R.E. Now, you have probably heard these two drug names before, tobacco and alcohol. 75,000 people die from alcohol, and 400,000 people die from tobacco use. Do you know in the United States it is illegal to sell drugs to anyone under the age of 18? There are 200 known harmful chemicals in one single cigarette. Smoking can cause yellow teeth and bad breath. It can also cause heart diseases. Did you know that alcohol is illegal to anyone under the age of 21? Too much alcohol can lead to a slowed down body and cause that person to go into a coma and possible death. Alcohol goes right to the bloodstream and affects every organ in your body. When teens drink alcohol, it affects their body more than adults. I have used the D.A.R.E. decision-making model in my life before. In 4th grade, I was getting bullied by somebody that I didn't know. I reported the bullying to an adult, and we talked about it for a little bit, and now we're both okay. This is an example of the D.A.R.E. decision-making model. I plan to use the D.A.R.E. decision-making model in my life so I can make safe and responsible choices. I can say no to drugs, and I know what they'll do to my body. I, Natalie Martin, promise to never use drugs.
Congratulations. All the students did a great job on their reports, and those 6 are a perfect example of that. The last group of people I'd like to thank before we hand out your certificates are the ones who make my job as the D.A.R.E. officer very easy, and that's the staff here at Bear Elementary, and that begins with your principal, Mrs. Rupert. And your 5th grade teachers, Mrs. Muir and Mrs. Lucas. And now we'll hand out your certificates, and we'll begin with Mrs. Muir's class.
We have Austin Brewer, Beth Ann Brock, Max Kambazaka, Ashlyn Childers, Jackson Coates, Lily Cup, Isabella Eanes, Aubrey Eve, Dylan Gibbs, Titus Goodrich, Cameron Gregory, Anaya Honeywell, Petra Miller, Logan O'Brien, Pierce Salas Chambers, Ariana Sherman, Liam Stafford, Logan Thompson, Kellen Toadvine, and Dalton Wagner. Good job, bud.
Great, thank you.
You're up.
Sorry, here.
I got a list if you want to hold them.
Okay.
They should be in order. Okay. Hunter Bond, Allie Cheatham, Cadence Fugate, Natalie Hatley, Bailey Heine, Seth Jeffries, Chad Martin, Natalie Martin, Ava McIntosh, Emmy Middendorf, Gage Miser, Kaylee Rucker, Emmy Schultz, Kira Sorrell. Jackson Swords. Dawson Spencer. Serena Stevens. Grace Sunderman. Braden Terry. And Jaden Terry.
You said Jaden Terry.
Oh, Jaden Willer. Sorry.
That's right. Thank you. All right, the last thing we'll do as part of our graduation is I have a short little video of D.A.R.E. classes here, Bear. All right, once again, I thank everyone for coming out today. Guys, have a great summer. Be safe, and I'll see you all next year in school. Thank you.
I'd also like to take a moment to thank Officer Doug Sheritz for all of his work and coming in every week for 10 weeks teaching these kids. And I know they enjoyed him so much that, I mean, they were talking about it. And whenever he wouldn't come on a Tuesday, they wanted to know why. So thank you so much, Officer Sheritz. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.